We go all the time. He's not in bed with me. We have spent a lot of midnight. We have spent a lot of hours, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. We have spent together. Man, I get passionate about it because I'm tired.
Yes, sir.
Last week, this is my man right here, Bishop Lane. He called me that Friday morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. He told me that our friend, his brother-in-law, lost his son. I went to the services and I couldn't control my emotions because that to me was personal. I didn't know his son, I didn't know the deceased, but I knew his father. Been knowing his father for years. We take it personal. I take it personal because it happened in Newcastle County. It happened under my watch. And I'm looking in the mirror like, okay, well, what did we do wrong? How can we get clean? But you know the difference, we solved the case. It doesn't bring the person back. But we solved the case because the community came forward and the community provided information.
Amen.
The people who did this won't be able to do it again. But if you don't say anything, these people will continue. How many of y'all seen the paper? It's shoot to kill gang. Look at all the homicides when WPD finished doing their indictments and everything else. Some of these guys were good for 2, 3 homicides. How were they able to get away with that? They were able to get away with it because we turned a blind eye to it. We didn't think it was important enough. We hate the police so much. Some of us hate the police so much, we'd rather see, you know what, I'm not helping the police, and I'll just let this family suffer. Well, I'm going to tell you something. That family, the person who dies in any homicide case, the person who has it the easiest, is the person that's laying in that casket. Those who are left were now trying to pick up the pieces, trying to figure out exactly now, I got to find, my child's not here. My child's not coming home. In this day and age, I have 2 daughters, and yes, I'm concerned about them. But I'm going to tell you this. I have a young man that's like a son to me. He's doing well. A few of them. I'm not concerned about them having an encounter with the police department. I'm not. And yes, do I know it can happen? Yes. But I'll be honest with you. I'm more concerned about when they go out to a party to have a good time like we used to have back in the day. They're not going to come home. Wayne and Kendall and Green, part of the group, Connecting Families for Justice, that I worked with them and we started. 16-year-old son, DeAndre, went to a party, good kid. Fight breaks out. He's running, trying to get away. They start shooting off rounds. He's shot and killed. 16 years old. I get the call at 1:30 in the morning. I say, okay, well, I don't know. I try to lay back down and go to sleep. Something kept tugging at me, go into the hospital. At that time, I said, there's nothing I can do. The detectives are out. And when I went out there, I said, well, you know, let me get up and I'm going to go out there. And I went. And the family had not yet seen their son. And in 27 years, and everything that I've seen, and we all know in law enforcement we're exposed to a lot of things, but nothing has ever stayed with me and hurt me and comes back as a vivid memory more than when Mr. and Mrs. Green, when their hospital staff opened up that room and they told him, you can't see, you can't touch him. And they allowed him at the threshold. And I watched Wayne Green yelling at his son, DeAndre, get up. Get up, DeAndre. And he looked like he was asleep. Every time when I go to that hospital, it comes back and it triggers. The other day we were in there because one of our officers was in that in an accident. And I was sitting there looking at that room, and it came right back to me. This stuff is real, man.
It is.
It's real. And we got to leave out of here doing what Mike said, but we got to leave out of here determined that we're going to make a difference. Whether you're in uniform, whether you're not a police officer, but you care about the community, we have to go out here and start to do some things different. This is nonsense.
Absolutely.
You shouldn't be considered living half your life at the age of 11 because at 22 you're going to be dead. When our frat brother Kevin's son was murdered, and we went over to the grave site, and I'm walking across the headstones, I'm just looking at the markers, I'm like, man, he was born in 98. I'm walking on here, boy was born in 2001. Man, it's 97. I'm like, this isn't right. But it continues to perpetrate and continues to go on because we're not doing what we need to do. And law enforcement, we got to get better too. We know that. We know that. We have to do more in terms of outreach to the community, because when we do that, you start to build that trust. And when you start to build that trust, that's when people will start to come out and they want to give you information. That's why Newcastle County Police, we're committed. We're going to put foot patrols in there. And I know, Rick, that was something that you cried about. You know, you've been crying about it to the point that I made U-turns to avoid you. But we put the foot patrols over in Brookside because this man was fussing, he fussing and carrying on. You know, we take our lead, as it was said up here. We take our lead from the community. We work for the community. So when you tell us that this is what you want, we have an obligation to do it. But we have to work together. And in our communities, we have to come together and stand up for what's right. You cannot be afraid. You cannot be afraid.
That's right.
Because, see, it happened a couple doors down from you tonight. Next week, it might come on down a couple doors and be right there at your doorstep. All right? Man?
I do a lot of trainings in and I'm doing a survey with a question on there that says, how do you take this information? How can you make the community safer? And mostly everybody wrote present of police. The second question, another question on it that says, do you see, it's the only time that you see police in your community is when there's a problem. And on those questions, I'm telling you, say I get 15, 7 or 8 of those would say, I never see the police, only when there's a problem. So I think in people's minds, just the presence, the foot patrol. This guy, I wanted to ask him a question. As Lieutenant Colonel Watson, he had a hardwired for service, just like your muscles are hardwired to move. They have a memory to move unless you have a silver something, but he was hardwired to serve. And I think in the minds of people, just knowing that this police comes, I know his name, he stops down 3 doors down, or this is his route, or this is what I think just the presence makes them think that things are better, and they feel better because they're there, and I think that begins to build trust. I'm just saying what you were talking about, what the community wants. And so, and I know in Garfield Park, Carlin has like about 148 houses. I know that Chesterfield has 121 houses because I've knocked on those doors. And so I count the houses, I chart them, I make sure that, I at least knock on that door 2 or 3 times before I say, okay, I'm finished here. So when I go door to door, when I get those, I read them. I can say number 9, number 10, number 11, whatever. This is what they said. And I'm just saying what they said. This is what they need. We haven't cracked down all the numbers from all the surveys yet. We're only in, where are we now? We're in San Luis Gardens now. So, but this is what they're saying they need.
And that's exactly why we are trying to put out additional foot patrols. Years ago, we called them zebra units, but we used to put those foot patrols out there, and we saw the benefits of it. You know, we had grant funding for it, the grant funding dried up, those officers were then placed right back into patrol. And we lost something with that. And for a number of years, we went away with that. Many of you know Will Sheridan, who passed away. You remember when Will Sheridan, you remember Frank Cook right here. These guys were out there and they were up and down the road. Everybody knew them. Will Sheridan worked in Brookline, you know, Phil Hill, Phil Davis, all of them. They knew everybody in that community. And when there's something happened, their phones were ringing nonstop because they were in there. And we got away from that because it became about, you know, number one, crime has increased, calls for service has increased. And so, you know, you're running your officers all over the place trying to answer 911 calls. And for me, I think it's important for our agency to say, okay, we're going to still answer our 911 calls, but we need to be in these communities. We need to have our officers in contact, constant contact. They need to know who Ms. Smithers is. Ms. Smithers needs to know who they are, and she does. And Bill and Rodriguez know that, you know what, you got to check in with Ms. Smithers, and especially in the summertime at their pool, we better be there. So we have to get back to that, and so we're going to continue to do that. Chief Tracy talked about it earlier. It's the same thing. That Wilmington is doing the same thing. They're putting officers out there. So we're realizing that this, in law enforcement, there has to be a shift. There has to be a shift. It can no longer be simply being in your car and driving fast going to the next plane. Somebody needs to take the time, get out on foot, get on the bike, go out there in the community and engage the community. So, okay.
So when are you gonna do this again?
Ma'am, I don't know. I don't know. No. You'll be notified.
Hold on 1 second. She's been waiting.
Yeah, okay, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry.
My translator is called Without Little and the Rain. This is 3 points. I understand for the forum for the community. The community is to start in the house because the lady is the phone and start in the house. Second point is in the school. Second community is school. The other community is now everybody is physical for the for physical program. Now the kids is the brain is now same for me, not same for everybody. The kids is wanting more for computing, for programs. Now it's necessary the control and the system was because the lady that tell the records for everybody, the control for the guns, for the balance drive, or everything. I don't know if you understand me. Because 8 months here in Newcastle, moved 3 times. 9 years living in New Jersey, 1 year in Texas. It's very, very difficult, the community for group. Because now in New Jersey, the balances is more conflict in the police. Now my experience in basically the guys of police, 4 police in 3 years is gone, is died. In Texas, every 2 months, 1 police is the same. Here in Delaware is the community for everything for Delaware, and my experience is very hard work because now it's necessary the work is ¿cómo se dice altura?
¿Qué tú quieres decir, mami? Ya te voy a ayudar, tranquilo.
¿Cómo se dice?
Hi.
Sí, el trabajo que ellos tienen que hacer ahora no es a nivel de nosotros, es a nivel de ellos.
Okay, the work that the police or the law enforcers need to do is not at the level of us as an adult. They have to be at the level of the kids because they are the future.
Ellos ya están en programas muy avanzados que nosotros. Ellos,
They already are in programs that are more advanced than the one that we had.
ellos pueden entrar muy fácilmente a sistemas de escuela,
They can get into the school system easily than us.
al sistema de policía,
to the police system,
al sistema de gobierno,
to the government system,
entonces hay que actuar de manera a lo que ellos piensan, a lo que ellos ya saben.
and then we need to act based on what they know or what they know how to do. Basically, déjame añadir